America's rise, entering World War I and changing history. America's entry into World War I marked a significant turning point in global history. Initially committed to neutrality, the United States eventually found itself drawn into the conflict due to a combination of factors. This decision would profoundly impact the war's outcome and alter America's role on the world stage. Before World War I, America was largely isolationist, focusing on domestic growth and westward expansion. The nation's economy thrived, bolstered by industrialization and a growing middle class. While maintaining diplomatic relations globally, America preferred to avoid entangling alliances and conflicts overseas, emphasizing its own prosperity and stability. A series of events gradually shifted American sentiment toward involvement in the war. Unrestricted submarine warfare by Germany endangered American lives and commerce. Diplomatic tensions grew as Germany's aggressive tactics threatened U.S. neutrality. Public opinion began to change, and calls for intervention grew louder, creating pressure on the government. The sinking of the Lusitania in 1915 was a pivotal moment that swayed American public opinion. A German U-boat torpedoed the British passenger ship, killing 1,198 people, including 128 Americans. The tragedy sparked outrage and shifted public sentiment toward supporting the Allies, increasing calls for U.S. involvement in the war. The Zimmermann telegram further propelled America towards war. In 1917, British intelligence intercepted a secret communication from Germany to Mexico, proposing an alliance against the U.S. In exchange, Mexico would regain lost territories. The revelation of this plot incensed the American public and government, pushing the nation closer to joining the conflict. President Woodrow Wilson initially maintained a firm stance on neutrality, emphasizing the importance of keeping the United States out of European conflicts. He believed that America should serve as a mediator for peace rather than a participant in war, reflecting the widespread desire among Americans to avoid entanglement in foreign disputes. Despite Wilson's commitment to neutrality, economic ties with the Allied powers grew increasingly significant. American businesses and banks extended substantial loans and sold vast amounts of goods to Britain and France. These economic connections created a vested interest in the Allies' success, subtly nudging the nation toward involvement in the conflict. As tensions escalated, the United States realized the need to assess its military preparedness. The country had a relatively small standing army and limited resources dedicated to defense. Recognizing this shortfall, efforts began to bolster the military, including expanding the army and modernizing equipment in anticipation of potential involvement. Mobilizing American troops and resources became a priority once the decision to enter the war was made. The government swiftly enacted measures to organize and deploy forces, ensuring that both soldiers and supplies were adequately prepared for the challenges ahead. This mobilization was crucial in demonstrating America's commitment to the war effort. The Selective Service Act marked a significant step in America's wartime mobilization. Implemented to address the need for a larger military force, it required men to register for the draft. This legislation ensured a steady flow of new recruits, highlighting the nation's resolve to contribute effectively to the Allied cause. American Expeditionary Forces, AEF, underwent rigorous training before deployment, emphasizing discipline and modern combat techniques. This preparation ensured that once they reached the European front, they were ready to support Allied efforts effectively. Their training camps were scattered across the U.S., where soldiers learned trench warfare, marksmanship, and coordinated maneuvers. General John J. Pershing, commanding the AEF, demanded that American troops fight as an independent force rather than be amalgamated with European units. His leadership ensured a focused and distinct American contribution to the war effort, bolstering Allied morale and showcasing U.S. military resolve and capability on the global stage. The first major battles involving American troops tested their readiness and determination. These engagements demonstrated the AEF's ability to hold their ground and execute complex operations. The bravery and effectiveness of American soldiers in these initial confrontations helped to cement their reputation among the Allied powers and enemy forces alike. The Battle of Cantigny marked the first significant American victory in World War I. This operation highlighted the AEF's strategic and tactical capabilities, boosting Allied confidence in American support. The successful capture and defense of Cantigny showcased the effectiveness of American training and the resilience of its soldiers under fire. American forces played a crucial role in the Battle of Belleau Wood, displaying extraordinary courage and tenacity. Their actions in this brutal and fiercely contested battle helped to halt a major German advance. The AEF's performance at Belleau Wood became a symbol of American strength and determination, earning them respect and admiration. American forces played a crucial role in the Second Battle of the Marne, marking a turning point in the conflict. Their engagement helped halt the last major German offensive on the Western Front. The determined and fresh American troops boosted the morale of Allied forces, contributing significantly to the eventual victory. The Meuse-Argonne offensive stands as America's largest and most grueling battle in World War I. Lasting 47 days, it involved over 1 million American soldiers. Their relentless efforts and strategic maneuvers broke through German lines, hastening the end of the war and demonstrating American military prowess on a global stage. American forces brought several innovations and tactical changes to the battlefield. They improved artillery coordination and employed emerging technologies like tanks and aircraft effectively. These advancements, combined with fresh manpower, provided a significant boost to the Allied campaigns, showcasing American ingenuity and adaptability in modern warfare. American airmen made notable contributions to World War I, providing critical reconnaissance and engaging in dogfights that disrupted enemy operations. Their bravery and skill in the skies helped gain air superiority for the Allies. These pioneering aviators laid the groundwork for future aerial combat and the development of the U.S. Air Force. The U.S. Navy played a vital role in securing sea lanes and protecting Allied shipping from German U-boats. Through convoy systems and anti-submarine warfare, the Navy ensured the safe transport of troops and supplies. Their efforts were instrumental in maintaining the logistical lifeline necessary for sustained Allied operations. American industrial and economic support during World War I was pivotal. Factories shifted to wartime production, supplying Allies with weapons, ammunition, and other essentials. This surge in manufacturing not only bolstered the war effort, but also revitalized the U.S. economy, creating jobs and fostering innovation across various industries. On the home front, Americans showed their support through war bonds and rationing. Citizens purchased Liberty bonds to finance military operations, while rationing ensured that resources like food and fuel were adequately distributed. These efforts unified the nation, fostering a collective sense of purpose and contributing significantly to the war's success. Propaganda played a crucial role in garnering public support for the war. Government agencies used posters, films, and speeches to promote patriotism and encourage enlistment. This widespread propaganda campaign successfully mobilized the American populace, instilling a sense of duty and urgency to support the nation's war efforts. Women and minorities made significant contributions during World War I. Women took on roles in factories, offices, and even as nurses on the front lines. Meanwhile, minorities, including African Americans and immigrants, filled essential labor shortages and served in the military. Their efforts challenged traditional societal norms and laid the groundwork for future social progress. World War I had a profound impact on American society. The war accelerated technological advancements and social changes, including women's suffrage and greater racial awareness. The collective experience of the war fostered a new sense of national identity and patriotism, shaping the United States' cultural and social landscape for years to come. The Armistice of 1918 marked the end of World War I hostilities. American forces played a crucial role in tipping the balance in favor of the Allies. The negotiated ceasefire, effective on November 11th, was a significant achievement, representing a collective effort to halt the immense suffering and devastation that had gripped Europe. President Wilson's 14 points outlined his vision for a just and lasting peace. Emphasizing self-determination, free trade, and the establishment of a League of Nations, Wilson's plan aimed to address the root causes of conflict. His idealistic approach sought to reshape international relations and prevent future wars through diplomacy and cooperation. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, imposed harsh penalties on Germany, including territorial losses and heavy reparations. While the treaty aimed to ensure peace, it also sowed seeds of resentment. In the US, the treaty faced opposition, with critics arguing it could entangle America in future European conflicts. Post-war America faced the challenge of transitioning to a peacetime economy. Wartime production had spurred industrial growth, but the return to civilian life brought economic adjustments. Factories shifted from military to consumer goods, and soldiers reintegrated into the workforce, leading to temporary economic fluctuations and the need for job creation and stability. The Red Scare gripped the US in the aftermath of World War I. Fear of communism and radicalism surged, fueled by the Russian Revolution and labor strikes at home. This period saw increased suspicion, government crackdowns on perceived subversives, and heightened social tensions, reflecting broader anxieties about post-war societal changes. The League of Nations debate highlighted America's internal struggle with internationalism versus isolationism. President Wilson championed the League as a means to ensure global peace, but opponents feared entangling alliances. Ultimately, the Senate's rejection of the League marked a significant moment, revealing deep divisions in American foreign policy priorities. World War I fundamentally altered America's foreign policy approach, steering it towards a more assertive and interventionist stance. The war experience underscored the importance of active global engagement to safeguard national interests and promoted the notion that the U.S. had a responsibility to contribute to international stability. The war's aftermath saw the U.S. emerge as a leading creditor nation, significantly influencing global economic dynamics. American financial institutions extended loans to war-torn Europe, solidifying the country's economic dominance and intertwining its prosperity with global recovery efforts. World War I profoundly impacted American arts and literature, inspiring a wave of creativity that explored themes of disillusionment and the human cost of conflict. Writers like Ernest Hemingway and F. Scott Fitzgerald captured the era's zeitgeist, producing works that remain influential in understanding the war's cultural legacy. The war prompted a re-examination of American identity and patriotism, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. However, it also exposed societal fractures, particularly in terms of race and gender. These tensions would shape the nation's social landscape, fueling movements for civil rights and women's suffrage in the subsequent decades. World War I ignited a profound shift in American identity, reinforcing a sense of patriotism and national unity. The shared sacrifices and collective efforts on the battlefield and home front forged a stronger national consciousness. This era marked a redefined American spirit, characterized by resilience, determination, and a commitment to democratic ideals. The legacy of World War I veterans is deeply woven into the fabric of American history. These individuals, hailed as heroes, returned to a nation eager to honor their service. Their experiences shaped public perceptions of duty and valor, leaving an indelible mark on subsequent generations and military traditions. Memorials and commemorations across the United States stand as poignant reminders of the sacrifices made during World War I. These monuments not only honor the fallen, but also serve as educational tools, ensuring that future generations understand the war's significance and the profound impact it had on the nation. The lessons learned from America's involvement in World War I continue to influence contemporary policies and military strategies. The importance of international alliances, the need for preparedness, and the value of swift, decisive action are enduring principles derived from the conflict, guiding the country's approach to global challenges. America's emergence as a global power post. World War I was a defining moment in its history. The war underscored the nation's economic and military capabilities, establishing it as a key player on the world stage. This newfound status set the stage for future international leadership and a pivotal role in global affairs.